A girl looks into the camera. Her hair is pulled back. She wears a domino mask. She once was a cape in a future now forever forgotten. That girl is me. She's important. Today of all days, she's important, but you need to forget that for now. You want answers, and you'll get them, but first, you need to let it all go. Listen to the sound of her voice whispering in your ear. Watch her lips move in time with her words. She's going to count. She'll start at 10 and work her way down. Maybe she'll go back up here and there. And as she descends, maybe you'll also find yourself descending into nothingness. And as she ascends, maybe you'll find yourself waking, your mind feeling sharper. Are you ready? 10. Keep your eyes open. Don't close them. Pretend there's an angel around, if that helps. 9. Draw your attention to the surface of your eyes. Are you straining to keep them open? 8. Do your eyes feel dry? Do they burn? 7. Do you want to close them? 6. Let them fall shut at last. 5. Do you still hear her voice in your ear? 4. Is it fading away? 3. Are your thoughts fading? 2. What are thoughts? Are they important? 5. Hear the voice clearly and let your thoughts come into focus. 7. Open your eyes again. Keep them open for a minute. Feel the weight of your eyelids again. 6. Let's try once more. Let your eyes fall shut and embrace the dark. 5. Relax and let yourself fall again towards nothingness. 7. Open your eyes. Are your thoughts racing again? 6. Let your eyes close. 5. Let all those thoughts dissolve away from you. 4. Let it all fall away. 6. Let yourself focus one more time, and now 4. Now let it all go. 2. It is not important. 1. Just let it fade. 0. Shh. It's okay. Is everything foggy? It's okay if it is. Let yourself float within its blurry gray mass. It is nothing, and so are you. Nothing and everything all in one. You don't know what it means, You know, it is not important. All you need to do is exist here in the everything of nothingness. Are you alone? No, you're not, are you? He found you. The doctor. He's whispering in your ear even now. Can you hear him? Focus, he tells you. Can you feel the weight of his hand upon your shoulder? Listen. This is important. Listen, Taylor. Can you feel the TARDIS's glass floor pressing into the soles of your feet? Or can you feel anything at all? Is it all some strange blur? You need to understand, he says. It's important that you understand. Can you see him? Maybe you feel dizzy. Maybe everything's still a fog. But maybe if you try, you can make him out. His shirt, his jacket, his bow tie. Maybe if you try, you can manage to see his eyes. They search your own for a moment, but then his face seems to fall grim as he reaches some dark conclusion. Maybe you notice him raise his hand, or maybe it escapes your notice. It's okay. The snap of his fingers reverberates through the TARDIS. Let me show you, he says. The TARDIS's doors creak open somewhere behind you. Go on. Turn. A cape whizzes by the TARDIS's open doors. He doesn't see you. His focus is on it, the Simurg. But it's not important, because you know this moment. Even now you can see Alexandria slamming into the monster, and moments later, dozen beams of energy. You know what happens next, the doctor says in your ear. And you do, don't you? You must have watched a dozen clips a dozen times each. Why did he take you back to this moment? You don't want to watch. You can't. You need. There must be something you can do. There has to be something. It's because of me, you whisper. The doctor's grip upon your shoulder tightens. He does not contradict you. Then it happens. The moment you watched 100 times now happens again right before your eyes. Alexandria begins another dive. Then she falls from the sky. Dragon's the first to notice. Her suit swoops down after Alexandria. You want to look away from the impact, but can you hear the snap of Alexandria's leg as Dragon catches her? Alexandria is only the first. Another cape drops, then another. You recognize a couple. Legend, Eidolon, too. The rest. You didn't bother learn their names, did you? Not even after watching them fall again and again. Do you truly care so little? March not, the doctor says. Chromulance, Donator, Lushbiel, Sunstorm, a dozen others. Do they? You begin to ask a question, but you stop as you realize you don't want the answer. Why does he answer you anyway? No, he says. None of them survive the fall. Why are you? Watch, he says, his voice almost threatening, menacing. You don't want to. You don't want to. Do you see? The doctor asks. The portals. You know what comes through. One by one, half-dozen portals pop into existence, dotting the bright sky like little windows into a dark void somewhere beyond. Each is wreathed in a barely perceptible shimmering light. Do you recognize it? You should. You once controlled those same portals for yourself. Or had something else controlled them and you alike? You can't really remember, can you? Doormaker, you whisper. But you know he must be dead. No one else has noticed yet. The capes below are too busy panicking. But you would be too, wouldn't you? After all, you'd panicked when it had happened to you. When you'd woken up back in time and found, like the capes below you, that your power had been taken from you. They are not important. Look up, back at the portals. Can you see the shapes within? No. You'll hear their voices first, won't you? They'll say the word they always say, their shrieking voices filled with hatred. Exterminate! Did you jolt at the sound? Did you feel your shoulder press up into the doctor's hand? Something flies by the TARDIS's open door. It's her, Alexandria, riding atop Dragon's suit. Even without her power, even with her leg broken, she doesn't panic, does she? She does not panic, even as Daleks emerge from the portals and fly down to meet her. Their metal bodies are a glossy black, absurd with their plungers and whisks for arms and their strange little eye stalks. Absurd, and yet... You're going to draw his attention, Alexandria says, as the Daleks form a circle around her. Is she yelling? Or is the TARDIS amplifying her words? Maybe it's some of each. The capes below have gone still. Even the Simurg hovers motionless, her many wings unnaturally frozen. How? Attention does not concern us, one of the Daleks states, the lights on its head almost ear-like, blinking with its words. Now that you see him in person, do you recognize him? Even for a Dalek, he looks unnatural. There's a slight shimmer to his form, much like the edges of the portal from which he had emerged. His will, Alexandria says. He is of no concern, exclaimed the Dalek. His form has been analyzed. It is inferior to mine. You do recognize the Dalek, don't you? One able to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, one who would find even Scion inferior. Dalek Ta. But it's impossible. You made him up. He's just a story you told. You know what he is, then? Asks Alexandria. She does not seem surprised. But how? How had Dalek Ta known about Scion? And why wouldn't Alexandria be surprised? Unless the Daleks had learned from the only other people who had known. You'd wondered why Cauldron, with their near limitless power, had never come after you. But if the Daleks had killed... The Daleks will prevail! We have seen the path! The path. It had been her power. The woman in the suit. The woman who had shot you before you had woken up here in the past. Cauldron's boogeyman. And if the Daleks have her power... You don't know how the path works, says Alexandria. You only saw it for a moment before she destroyed it. The anger in her voice. The path to victory had not been the only thing destroyed, had it? Are you relieved the path is gone? Do you think that will save you? Do you think a moment together with victory itself is not enough in the hands of the Daleks? Have you already forgotten what happens next? The path is no longer important, the Dalek screeches. Sufficient shards have been collected. Prepare the amalgam. Prepare. It's louder than you remembered. The air vibrates as, above Alexandria and the Daleks, reality itself is torn apart, its fabric ripping and shimmering and convulsing as a portal opens. It's bigger than you've ever seen. Can you feel it? It shakes the TARDIS like an earthquake. But instead of from the ground, it emanates from reality itself. What's inside? Can you see it? You may have watched a dozen clips a dozen times. You couldn't ever see inside, but now it reminds you of him, his body, Scion, an amalgam of twisting and shifting and morphing shards, and yet where Scion had been long, almost worm-like, this. What does the shape remind you of? A stem, a bulbous mass, its surface riddled with ripples and coils, as if someone had taken a human brain and made it abstract, as if they tortured it into a writhing mass of bizarre and tendrilic forms. The entity won't stop with us, says Alexandria. Can you hear her voice shake as she looks up into the portal above her? Or is it just your imagination? It will destroy you too. Do you want to laugh at her? Do you think it funny? Maybe she doesn't know, doesn't realize. If the Daleks can craft their own entity, why should they fear him? The amalgam will exterminate the entity known as Scion. As if on cue he appears, the Golden Man himself. Can you feel his confusion? He exudes it plainly as he examines the portal. He does not use his eyes. He wouldn't, would he? His form always was a lie. But still, somehow you can tell he's inspecting it, trying to understand. Tracing dimensional threads, says Dalek-Ta. Prepare! Reality ripples again as one more portal opens just in front of Scion. As if anticipating what's about to happen, he darts backwards a few feet. But it doesn't matter, does it? Nothing he can do will matter. The two portals have opened. The amalgam in one, Sion's true body in the other. It's about to happen, isn't it? You watched it enough times. You'd wondered what power this amalgam could have wielded. You should have known better. After all, you hadn't limited yourself to one when you'd fought Sion, and between the capes below and the ones the Daleks must have taken, there must be hundreds at the amalgam's disposal. Watch, says the doctor. Watch, Taylor. See what you've done. The doctor's words almost make you miss it. What does he mean? What did you do? All you told were stories. Dalek-Ta's command steals back your focus. Exterminate! The bright flash almost blinds you, but you can still just make out the beam traversing the space between the portals, leaping from the amalgam to Sion. And then he's gone. His golden form flickers away with a brief shimmer. And then there is nothing. Sion is gone. The entity has been exterminated, says Dalek-Ta. Prepare biomass harvesting protocols. The Daleks will be restored. The rest of the Daleks chant in response. Enough, says the doctor. He snaps his fingers, and the doors swing shut. Why can't you bring yourself to turn and look at him? Why do you just keep staring at the doors? Do you know? He asks. No. What could you know? I didn't, you say. I didn't do this. You just what? I just told stories. You can't take your eyes off the doors. Maybe its wood is old. Maybe it's new. Maybe it's both at the same time. And maybe it's not important, but you don't want. You told stories, he says, almost scornfully. Stories. They weren't supposed to. Anyone can tell a story, can't they? He says. But you. Close your eyes. Can you hear? Can you see? What if? No. You don't just tell stories, do you? Finally you turn. Once was a cape and a future now forever forgotten. That's what you say, isn't it? Tell me. Did you know? No? What could I know? I'm back here without my power, without anything except memories, and even it's all different. No, says the doctor. His face softens. Instead of threatening anger, it now holds pity, you think. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You shake your head. Do you know what he's about to tell you? Have you guessed? You do have a power, Taylor. Again, reality itself seems to shake, but this time you know it's not from the Daleks or the amalgam or the shimmering portals. You did this. You told your stories, and they did what stories do. They took lives of their own. Only with you, that's a bit more literal, isn't it? You created them, the angels, the Daleks, the amalgam, me. Your hands reach for something to support you. Your legs feel weak. Are you shaking? Can you even tell what you're feeling? Is it shock, terror, self-loathing, or all of it and none of it? But you're real, you say. I can't be, he says. There's a bitterness in his voice. You have to let us go. The Daleks, the amalgam, me, all of it. But I'm not important. You're important to me. Why? He says. You barely know me. You say I created you. How could I do that? How, if I don't know you? Taylor, I need you. Why do you need him? He's right. You don't know him, except he's not just asking you to let him go. He's asking you to let all your stories go, to let everything. You feel a breath escape you as understanding hits. You did create him. You created his character based on the him you had seen on your television. You created him, gave him a life of his own in your mind, and then you let others in to see what you'd done. You tell stories. You bring him to life in their minds, and then your power, the power you didn't even know you had, brings him to life in reality. Taylor, he says, you have to let me go. Of course you know him. Of course you don't want to let him go. He's yours. But you'll die. No, I'll just fade away into nothingness, he says. Just like your stories always do. We're all stories in the end after all, aren't we? He struggles to keep his face stoic. You don't want to go, do you? You ask. What I want is not important, he says. He pulls a lever on the console. You hear the whine of the TARDIS as it materializes. But go, he says quietly as he snaps his fingers. You hear the doors creak open behind you. Go tell a story. Let us all go. He nods at the doorway. You look at it over your shoulder. And Taylor, make it a good one, eh? Are you aware as you leave the TARDIS? Or is it all a strange blur? As the doors close behind you, can you hear him whisper? Geronimo. And then, with its whirring whines, the TARDIS fades away. You know what you must do. And now it is time. He left you in your room. There, sitting on your desk, is your microphone. Time to tell one last story. Sit down. Turn on the camera. Begin. Start like you always do. Describe yourself looking into the camera. Build a subconscious trust in their minds. Acknowledge your importance today, but tell them it has to wait. Count down from 10. Count back up here and there. Help your little beetles descend into a trance as deep as their minds will allow them. Bring them into the TARDIS. Share with them what the doctor just shared with you. Help them understand. Help them know that none of this should be real. And end back here in your bedroom, speaking into your microphone these very words, here and now. This is your story. This is my story. Shh. Listen. Listen to my voice in your ear now at the end. Shh. 1, 2, 3. Let yourself become more alert. 5. Let your thoughts begin to flow. 6, 7. Open your eyes. 8, 9. You're nearly awake, aren't you? But it's not time yet. There's still something you have to do. 6. Close your eyes again. Even with them closed, do they feel heavy to you? 5, 4, 7. Pull your eyes open as best you can. And 6. Let them fall shut. 4, 2, 1, 0. Nothing. Shh. There's one thing left for us to do. See them. See them all in your mind right there in front of you. The Daleks, the amalgam, the doctor. Do you see them yet? Just let them stand there. They don't need to move. They're just there. And now, imagine the Daleks fading into nothingness. They can be just a memory if you want. Nothing more, just strands of thought in your head. They are not important. Let them fade away in your thoughts, only remembered in moments, from time to time. Though it may be an amalgam of shards and flesh, that flesh is still human, and in saving humanity from Scion, the amalgam has already done the most human thing it could ever do, and now it too can let itself dissolve into unreality. It is not important. And the doctor, let him go. He is not important. Let him return to nothingness. He isn't real. None of it is real. Know that none of it is real. Know that when you wake, you will find it has all faded away. Know. This is important. Let go. Shh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your thoughts begin to return. 6, 7. Open your eyes. 8, 9. Almost alert. And 10. You're awake. I can't tell you if the world will end. I can't tell you if the Daleks and the amalgam and the doctor are actually gone. I don't know if this video will work, but I guess for me, it is not important. Not anymore. My name is Taylor Hebert, and I don't think you'll see me again. If I failed, the world will end. I'll have created something worse than Scion could ever be. If I succeeded, the heroes now know who I am. I'll be sent to the birdcage. Or maybe I'll just be killed. And I should be. My power changes reality itself. It's too dangerous to. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, you know. I thought I was just telling stories. Just stories. Unimportant. Unimportant like me. But I was important, wasn't I? I didn't mean to be. But I was. And now. Now it's at an end. I'll just be a story. Nothing more. Just a story. Just unimportant. I guess it's up to you now. Remember. You are important. Goodbye. Geronimo.